Have you ever seen them pick up 3 flags in one game before?
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And the other one is that fucking 4th and 16. That's bullshit. Fuck you, run a play and then turn around and say, bad, the clock wasn't working, blah, blah, blah. They ran a fucking play.
I'm counting that as picking up a flag pretty much. But yeah, that was terrible. And at the end of the game, the refs were trying to make it up to us in the 4th. Like I knew there was going to be no way to that they were going to overturn that. That was actually the first time I ever saw the rule. If it isn't enough to overturn the ruling on the field, then it stands. We do have a guest that just jumped in, and we got somebody who was at the game. We're going to bring in A.J. Reilly for
What's up?
chat.
Hey, AJ.
What's up, man? How you doing, AJ?
Look.
Great. I like it.
They put them on sale today. You can tell I've kind of lost my voice from all the doggone yelling at third downs that we couldn't stop.
How loud was it there?
It was so loud.
Yeah, it sounded loud on the TV. It sounded so loud, dude.
That's legit something that I am going to talk about on Beyond the Box tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is like how great of an atmosphere Ford Field is. But my goodness, what a freaking frustrating game this was.
I bet.
Oh, my gosh.
It was probably easier.
I don't know, because to your point about that flag being picked up on third down, like by all accounts, that was actually the correct, like they had blown the play dead, but you couldn't hear it.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's what I got after leaving the game is what. So was it no, it looks terrible. It looks awful for us because it's like we legitimately made them throw the ball to nobody, stopped them on third down, and then they ripped off a 35-yard touchdown that Rashad Penny was not even anywhere close to. It was so frustrating. Guys on islands in man-to-man coverage all game long. Can't stop. Anzalone's 3 to 4 yards behind tight ends in the flat every single pass. It was awful. In fact, that's just going to go. I'm getting rid of it.
There you go, brother.
Were they actually trying to play man today?
The whole game. Neil, the whole game. Like my brother and I are sitting there watching the game and we're like, listen, Kirby Joseph's sitting in a single high safety set and they're just manned up for, I would say they were manned up probably 75% of those snaps.
Okay, this is worse than I thought, Butler. This is terrible.
I was wondering, you were saying in zone earlier, and I said it looked like man to me. So
I'm telling you, like, and every single one of those play action passes to the tight ends in the flat, like they finally, I did the math, 57 minutes into game time, and they finally covered it once. One time, 57, really? 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they finally stopped it.
So, like, we can only see bits and pieces of the coverage that looks like on the TV, and these guys were just so open. I assumed that they were playing man.
So wide open.
Oh, that's bad.
They were man the whole time, and maybe not the whole time, but every play I'm sitting there watching my brother and me, and we're like, okay, look, Kirby Joseph, single high safety, Deshaun Elliott walked down into that like fourth linebacker strong safety spot, and they were just running man, like it was, and then. I don't know if you guys remember that deep ball they got to Lockett in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But there was nobody, not even a single player in the middle of the football. It was the worst defensive display of football that I can remember seeing ever, to be honest with you. It was so bad.
What do you think the problem is there? Is it the players executing?
I think for sure it's the players executing, but the onus has got to be on Aaron Glenn. He has a bare cupboard. Okay, for sure. Like their defensive talent is not anywhere near their offensive talent. But if that's the case, you got to scheme to your players, and you're not scheming to them.
Yeah.
Anzalone and Rodriguez multiple times got caught in the wash on play action passes, which, okay, sure, sell out to stop the run. But
that's what they're designed to do.
But yes and no. He's got to cover the tight ends. Right? And it's the scheme. Each one of those, if I'm not mistaken, but like the long run in the third quarter that Penny had on 3rd and 16 when they got the second third down try, and then in the fourth quarter, you're selling out the blitz, and you're going to live or die by the blitz, and you do not have enough talented players to live and die by the blitz.
Fair.
Well,
you simply do not.
And Penny Run, he was untouched. No one even
both of them.
Both of them. Untouched.
And if you remember, he would have had a third one too, but he tripped over the 30-yard line.
Yep.
To be fair, though, in the first half, Penny wasn't doing anything against us.
No, he had 4 rushes for 2 yards in the first half or something.
And he kept getting stopped.
But what did they do? They bounced it outside the tackles instead of running in the interior. I don't think they ran except for towards the end of the game on the interior line at all. They started bouncing and getting speed sweeps to Walker, to number 1. I don't even remember what his name was. And then Penny, every single one of those runs were off tackle runs. They're running away from where the blitzes were actually coming from.
So I'll say this, and it might be a little bit of stubbornness that plays into this, but one of the biggest things that we saw during Hard Knocks was Deuce Staley like really preaching, stay in the middle, run through the line, don't bounce outside. And we've seen success with that. But when you get so committed to that mindset and you're unwilling to adjust and adapt to what the other team is giving you, is that an opportunity that we could take advantage of, in your opinion? Is
the Lions' run game, what Deuce was saying in that was, Deuce knows you're not going to score many touchdowns just running straight up the middle of the field. Generally, running backs are going to be taught to, you go hash, numbers, sideline. Like, that's your progression as you make your way out. The problem with Swift was that he just always wanted to bounce immediately. Yeah. But you got to work through those levels. But our offense without Swift is not designed to run the ball outside.
Okay,
our offense with Jamal Williams, the way that Williams broke that long run, which was fantastic for my fantasy team, but like that long run, and I've got to say this because I know you guys were talking about the clock management, but their clock management at the end of the first half was flawless. It was like I was sitting up there and I was like, this is exactly how you manage a 2-minute. You had 3 timeouts. You were first and goal. You ran the ball. You threw the ball away on second down. You had 8 seconds left. You ran the ball from 3rd and 1, got stopped, used your final timeout, 2 seconds. You're either scoring or they're going into half. Yep. And that was Dan Campbell needs a lot of, I'm sure that there's more involved than just Dan Campbell, but that was a fantastic use of clock management.
Yes. He redeemed himself 100% from what we saw.
I don't know about that because here's another thing that I picked up on in the fourth quarter, right? The Seahawks are running the ball. They got the ball with 5-6 minutes left. Geno Smith, again, they're not playing a great quarterback. They're playing Geno Smith, who they made look like a great quarterback today.
Yep.
He's up to the line, ready to snap the ball with 15 seconds left. He calms down, lets 10 more seconds run off the clock. The exact opposite thing that Jared Goff did last week against Minnesota. And I made mention of that to my brother. I go, look at what Geno Smith's doing. This is how you run the ball with a lead in the fourth quarter. You're not trying to necessarily run the clock out, but you're trying to take as much time off as you possibly can. And Geno led the team today. We made him look like a freaking all-pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, when you can make Geno Smith look good, your defense is struggling. Let's get back.
Points given up through 4 games in NFL history.
And the most points scored this year, and it's right back to it. So we're negative. We're just canceling each other out with the offense and the defense. But let's talk about why you came on, AJ. So you're saying that Goff is not, he's a bottom 24, or what you said was, I should say a bottom 8, my bad. So what's your beef with Goff?
Look, and he's not the problem. He's not the problem. I want to be very clear about this. This is not, there's way more problems than Goff, but he is statistically just, it looks good in the box score, but when you break down the analytics, up until this game, he'd thrown 35 passes beyond 10 yards and only completed 15 of them. And there's some drops in there, sure, I get that, but you saw what Geno Smith was able to do when he actually threatened the field down the field. It stretches the defense and allows for underneath routes. If you're just dinking and dunking all the time, it's not giving you much opportunity. Goff has not been helped by receivers.